Welcome to this explainer. Let's just dive right into it, shall we? Today, we're exploring a truly groundbreaking concept from Dr. Maxwell Maltz's classic work, Psycho-Cybernetics. It's a source that absolutely reframes how we think about our own minds and our actual potential for change. We're going to unpack the hidden mechanics of your self-image. And to do that, we need to start with a very strange, undeniable quirk of human biology that you can actually test on yourself right now.
Okay, do me a favor and picture this scenario vividly. I want you to truly, deeply imagine your hand accidentally brushing against a searing hot stove. If you vividly imagine that right now, like you see the glowing red metal, you feel that sudden, intense heat, your body is going to react. Just by thinking about it, your palm will respond with a literal flicker of muscle tension. You'll experience a measurable spike in skin conductivity, and your heart rate, it might even elevate slightly. Take a second and really put yourself there. Wild, right? Your body is reacting in real time, even though absolutely nothing physically touched you. The imagined event leaves a real biological trace on your nervous system.
And this brilliantly highlights a massive question. Can your nervous system actually tell the difference between a real experience and an imagined one? Well, the answer is the incredibly strange fact that plastic surgeon Dr. Maxwell Maltz built his entire psychological method around. Your nervous system simply can't tell the difference between a real experience and one you vividly and emotionally imagine. It's not that it sort of can't tell, it absolutely cannot. This is a total game changer for psychology, because it means our biological hardware can be hacked by our own thoughts. So let's look at exactly how this glitch works.
Section 1. The hardware glitch. Your mental blueprint.
As a plastic surgeon back in the mid-20th century, Dr. Maltz would regularly operate on patients, right? But he quickly noticed this highly puzzling pattern. He could physically fix a facial scar, completely changing a patient's appearance, yet that patient would still cower in social situations as if that massive scar was still right there on their face. Altering their physical features didn't automatically create confidence. Why? Because our behavior isn't controlled by our physical reality, it's controlled by an internal self-image. It's a mental blueprint, and your nervous system works 24/7 to keep that internal blueprint true, regardless of what changes on the outside. So, if we have this blueprint that rigidly dictates our confidence, how do we actually rewrite it?
Section 2. The programming language. Theater of the mind.
To rewrite this internal blueprint, Maltz prescribed a very specific, sensory-rich programming language. He didn't just tell people to engage in vague, empty, positive thinking or repeat hollow affirmations in the mirror. He created what he called the theater of the mind. It's a daily mental exercise where you vividly and emotionally rehearse yourself performing a specific task calmly and successfully. Maltz took this so seriously, decades before modern sports psychology caught up, that elite athletes use exact versions of this today. Think of Olympic gymnasts. They physically close their eyes, and you can visibly see them twitch their muscles as they run through a gold medal routine entirely in their imagination before they ever even step onto the mat.
Maltz laid out a highly actionable daily protocol to make this work for anyone. First, you sit quietly and completely relax your physical body. Second, you spend about 30 minutes playing a mental movie of yourself succeeding at whatever you're trying to improve. But step 3 is the absolute magic key. You must make it sensory rich. This isn't just a passing daydream while you're waiting in line for coffee. It needs to be an immersive virtual reality experience created by your brain. You have to see the lighting in the room, you have to hear the ambient sounds, and you have to truly feel the emotional weight of your own competence in that scene.
The crucial point here is why this actually works on a neurological level. Your self-image is really just a collection of remembered and imagined experiences that your brain uses as evidence about who you are. So your brain treats this vivid rehearsal as literal new evidence. Just like your hand reacted to that imaginary hot stove earlier, your brain treats this vivid rehearsal of success as undeniable new truth. If you do it enough times, the blueprint updates. It updates not through sheer white-knuckle willpower, but through belief updating and neuroplasticity. But wait, before we can seamlessly write this new code, we've got to deal with the existing bugs in the system.
Section 3. Clearing the bugs. Emotional scar tissue.
Maltz paired his rigorous mental rehearsal with something much gentler and deeply, profoundly human. He noted that old rejections and past failures leave marks on our self-image the exact same way physical wounds leave physical scars on our skin. He brilliantly called this emotional scar tissue. Think of a bad, humiliating public speaking experience you had in high school. That can leave a permanent psychological scar that actually prevents you from speaking up in a corporate boardroom 20 years later. The real tragedy is that most people never treat these scars. They just constantly replay them as undeniable proof of who they are and what their limits are.
So to fix this, Maltz suggested something closer to psychological first aid. This means you must deliberately relax your nervous system before you do any mental rehearsal, essentially calming that fight or flight response. You have to consciously forgive those old failures instead of constantly ruminating on them, literally telling yourself that a past mistake doesn't dictate your future capability. You've got to actively stop replaying past rejections as proof of your permanent identity. You are clearing out the old, corrupted files so the new software actually has room to run. Now, this naturally brings up a massive question about the timeline for this kind of change.
Section 4. The false loading bar, the 21-day habit myth.
We absolutely need to clear up a massive pop culture misconception about how long this software update actually takes to install. You've undoubtedly heard the urban legend that habits take exactly 21 days to form, right? Well, the myth you see here on the left is entirely based on a massive misunderstanding of Maltz's medical observations, which you can see on the right. He was merely observing how long it took patients to psychologically adjust to a completely new face after surgery, or the roughly 3 weeks it took for amputees to stop feeling a phantom limb and psychologically adjust to their new physical reality.
This number, 21, literally never came from a habit study at all. It's actually kind of frustrating how often science gets distorted like this. It was just an offhand observation by a plastic surgeon about psychological adjustment following major surgery that got completely hijacked by self-help gurus. They took a nuanced medical observation and packaged it into a universal, rigid, easily sellable rule about behavioral change and habit formation.
In reality, modern research tells a very different and, honestly, much more forgiving story. Habit formation is absolutely not a quick 21-day fix across the board. Real research shows it can take anywhere from about 2 months for a very simple daily habit, like remembering to drink a glass of water every morning, to well over 250 days for a complex behavioral change, like completely overhauling how you react to stress or rebuilding your self-confidence after trauma.
The absolutely crucial takeaway here is that your mental blueprint does not run on a fixed timeline or a set clock. It doesn't care about a 21-day calendar. The machinery of your mind updates based purely on 2 things: the consistent repetition and the intense emotional vividness of your mental rehearsals. The more vividly you can imagine the success, and the more often you sit down in that theater of the mind, the faster the blueprint updates. So what is the ultimate takeaway from all of this?
Let's bring it all together. Section 5. Deploying the update. Editing your mental software.
Psycho-Cybernetics is absolutely not just another book about thinking positive thoughts or forcing a fake smile. It is the profoundly empowering realization that your self-image is quite literally software. It's a program that was written by your past experiences, both real and imagined. And you know the absolute best part of Dr. Maltz's work? You have the permission and now the actionable tools to edit that software. You can edit it deliberately, you can edit it repeatedly, and you can do it completely on purpose without waiting for the outside world to change first.
Since we now know that your nervous system is simply sitting there, entirely unable to tell the difference between reality and a deeply felt visualization, just waiting for vivid new instructions, I want to leave you with this provocative thought. What specific, empowering new code will you choose to rehearse in your theater of the mind today? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Start rewriting that code, and I'll catch you next time.